Well, hello there, everybody, and good evening. Welcome to the Model Shop, episode 62. Apologize again, guys, for the late delay getting started here tonight. We had a little birthday bash here, and things ran over a little bit. My wife likes to do all of our birthdays here in the house really big, so we had a little fun here this evening. We got a great show in store for you guys tonight. We're going to be kicking things off with a look at finishing up the 148 scale Airwolf kit that we've been working on. Been having a lot of fun with that one. Just got it worked on it a little bit this week, and we've got a few little detail parts to add onto it tonight. We'll take you over to the bench and show you working on that. And then we've got another out-of-the-box kit review and a little bit of work we're starting on tonight, guys. I've got this 125th scale, the A Team van that I've started on. I got this one in the mail this week. This is the AMT Ertl kit in 125th scale. We're going to show you guys a nice out-of-the-box kit review on that, and then after we come back from that, we're going to start working on the model a little bit tonight on the bench. So we got a lot of building to do tonight, and just want to say a nice thank you to everybody for the birthday wishes today. Turned 53 years old today. Not real excited about that, but during our little birthday bash tonight, my wife dug up this picture that I wanted to share with you guys. This is from back in 1987 on my 25th birthday that she took this picture, and she wanted to remind me of that. I had a little bit more hair and a little bit more teeth back then, but I thought you guys might want to check that out. Anyway, we had a good time tonight, and we're going to have a lot of fun with the show tonight too, guys. Glad you could be with us, and again, apologize for the late delay. We're going to kick things off and get things moving right away since we're a little bit behind. We'll have a quick look at our sponsors, and we'll come back from that and be back on the bench with a look at the Airwolf. And we've also got a couple of pictures that were sent in by one of our friends at the Model Shop Google page, since we were talking about the flying sub kit last week. Got a couple pictures submitted by Lee Chambers, who got one of the new re-release kits from Mobius, with a couple pictures of what the included crew figures of Admiral Nelson and Captain Crane look like. So we'll show you those here a little bit later in the show. Some of you guys might be interested in that. So we'll check all that out here in a little bit, guys. See you right after the look at the sponsors, and we'll be back with the Airwolf. Okay, everybody, well, here we are tonight on the bench, and we're going to be finishing up the 148 scale Airwolf kit. I've been working on this one quite a bit this week. I want to mention that I went back and repainted it, actually, after we showed the paint job going down during our broadcast a week ago. I wasn't happy with the color after I went back and looked at the television show again. It's actually on Netflix right now, and I went and watched a few of the episodes. And the ship was more of a charcoal color than it was a just a standard gray, and it actually has sort of a little bit of metallic in it. It's not a like a metallic where you see a lot of metal flake in it, but it's definitely a metallic, sort of a dark charcoal gray with a white bottom on it. You can basically see what color the ship is when you look at the helmets that that Hawk and Dom are wearing. Their helmets match the paint job on the chopper, so those are definitely, when you watch the episode, you'll see what I mean. They're definitely like a metallic, real dark charcoal gray. So I went and remixed my color and resprayed the model with that, painted all the parts, and then got it all put together. The seams on the top and the bottom were pretty intense on this kit, but I used some of our perfect plastic putty and got that all cleaned up really nice. Now, again, watching the show, I noticed that the paint job also had kind of a gloss on it. It wasn't, a dull finish on it. It's not a super high gloss like you see on a show car or anything like that. So what I did is I finished all my paint work and everything, and I sprayed the entire model down with some Future. And that gives a kind of a nice semi-gloss finish and not a really high gloss like you'd see on
like the automotive clear that I use on one of my car models, but I think gives just the right look on it. And you can definitely see it when they show it, the chopper flying, like when it's kind of low light and things like that. It definitely has a nice shine on it. So I think we got that matched up and looking pretty good. And like I said, we've got our white two-tone, color here done on the belly and everything. Now, I was originally going to build this model as a, in flight, but I noticed that the kit didn't come with a pilot figure. I was thinking about maybe trying to find one, a 1/48 scale pilot should have been pretty easy to find because 1/48 is a pretty common scale for aircraft and things like that. But I just didn't have the time to get one in here in time, and I needed to get this one finished up. So I decided to switch plans and just build it as it's sitting on the ground with the landing gear deployed. And that gives the model some extra detail anyway, since they give you all that. But I did build the model with all the weapons deployed. We've got our 30 millimeter cannons here on the fuselage with the pods opened up, and then we've got the rocket launcher on the bottom, as you can see. And so it looks really good. I'm really happy with the kit overall. I wish it was a little bit bigger, but it's big enough, and it's got a nice detail on it. So I definitely recommend the kit if you're interested in an Airwolf kit. People are saying that the Aoshima kit that's out there might be a little bit more accurate, but looking at this and looking at the television show, I think this one's pretty close, and it'll definitely pass. And these kits are not that difficult to find, so you can go ahead and get yourself one of these if you're looking for it. The kit's been out of production for years, but you can still find them on eBay and Amazon and things like that. One thing I will mention on it is that it's really, it actually needs a little bit of weight placed into the front end here, whether you want to use an old fishing sinker or something like that, or something that you can find, because you can see it's just wanting to tip over, and if I barely let it go like that, the tail wants to come down and touch. So they have it right on the center of balance here with these wheels. I'm probably gonna, there's a small little gap here in the bottom in the landing gear where the bay is open down there. I think I'm probably gonna take some solder or something and coil it up and just kind of shove it up in there and make a little bit more weight on the nose, and that'll help hold the front end down on it. It won't need much. It's just it's barely off, but it's enough where if you just tap it a little bit, you can see how it wants to tip. But it's not that big of a deal. Like I said, just kind of a heads up ahead of time if you decide to build one of these, that you can put some weight into it before you actually put it together. It'll be a little bit easier. But what we're going to do right now is we've got to attach the top rotor, and we've got to attach the two little stabilizers for the rotor and then the rear tail rotor. So we'll just kind of go through this real quick and show you guys the finish of this thing. I'm going to start off by just putting a little bit of glue on the top shaft here, and we'll get the main rotor put in place. It has a pretty deep recessed hole in the bottom of the rotor blade there, so it sits on there pretty snug once you kind of work it down on there a little bit. I test fitted a little while ago, but we'll get this set on here now, and you just got to kind of twist it a little bit, and it'll drop in the hole. I want to have my blade sort of kind of in this position right here. I think that looks pretty good. And then we're gonna go ahead and glue our little struts on there, the stabilizer struts, but we'll go ahead and put the tail rotor on here first too, which I've got that already set up and ready to go. We just got to glue these little contact points on here. Just a couple dabs of glue will hold that. And again, talking about the model, it's a great little kit. It's got a lot of nice little detail parts with it. All the weapons and everything are definitely there, so it's a nice representation of the Airwolf, I think. And like I said, the only thing I would say is it would be nice if it was a little bit bigger. Maybe like 1/32 scale would bring it up a little bit, but who knows? Maybe someday somebody will come out with another kit, a little bit bigger scale or something. But I'm not knocking this one at all. It's great. And right now, the space that I have in my display room, this is going to fit in just fine anyway. I don't have a lot of extra space for something big right now. I've got to put up some more shelves. But let's go ahead and get these little stabilizers put on now. I'm going to grab my tweezers, and we're going to just dip these in some glue. I made a little puddle over there, and these almost look like a little wishbone kind of thing, but I'll kind of show it to you right here. And we're just going to stick this on the the top edge or the bottom edge of this little piece right here, and then just kind of work our way over to the center part there. You can see just something like that. It's actually supposed to glue on the edges of this outer part, but I made a little mistake there when I installed that and let it dry. And if I put it there now, and you can see how tippy this thing is, it wants to tip over on me right here, but we'll just let that go for right now and keep doing what we're doing here. I'm going to go back a little bit later and put a little bit of weight in that and get that problem fixed. But like I was saying, that little rotor piece should have been turned another 45 degrees, and I would have been able to put these where they actually belong, but I don't think anybody's going to notice, and I'm just going to do this the way I wanted to do it anyway. So not a problem here. We'll get this attached like that and go up there. And so there's our stabilizers. And it's kind of funny. I think my bench has a slight tilt to it because when you turn it around this way, it wants to sit okay. But you can see there's our little Airwolf, and this is, like I said, it's a really nice little model, guys. Don't take anything I said about it as a problem. You can, it just took a little bit of work to do the seams and all that. It's a great little kit, and I want to thank Rick Berger again, Dadnator24, for sending us a kit. We really appreciate that, Rick. That was really nice of you. And we had a great time building it up. Be a beautiful little model to add to our collection. We've got some really cool movie and television cars and vehicles and stuff, so this will fit right in. So just kind of turn it around here a couple times for you guys so you can check it out. Maybe what I'll do here, guys, is a little bit, I'll take a quick break here and I'll go and get my turntable, and we'll set it on the turntable here so you guys can see it turning around and it'll look a little bit better. Let me take a break real quick and we'll set it up on that, and we'll show you the final pictures of the Airwolf. Be right back, everybody. Okay, guys, back with you again. I think this is going to work out a little bit better. I ran inside and grabbed the turntable here so we can turn the model around and you guys can see it on all sides here. It's a lot easier to do it that way than picking it up and handling it. It's got a lot of small little detail parts that I don't want to knock loose, so I'll turn the turntable on here for you and spin it around a few times and you guys can check it out. Like I said, the model has a lot of nice detail on it. All the riveting and everything is there, all the panel detail and everything, and the weapons and everything. So I think it's a great representation of Airwolf. I'm no Airwolf expert, but I think it looks a lot like it. And some of the people out there might be able to point out some things that are wrong, but I think it's great. And like I said, for being an older kit that I just had a look at these on eBay a couple days ago just to see, and you can get these things fairly cheap and still fairly plentiful. Like I said, there is also the Aoshima version of it. This is the AMT Ertl version, but there's the Aoshima version out there, and like I said, I'm not sure if it's more accurate or anything like that. I think somebody said that it has the more detailed or more accurate interior in the back section here, where you have Dom's character that used to sit. But once the model's all put together, you really can't see that anyway, so I don't think it makes much of a difference. And like I said, really cool little model, and thanks again, Rick, for sending it to us. We really appreciate that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Had a lot of fun again on it, and we're going to go now and take a look at our out-of-the-box kit review for tonight, guys. That's going to be the AMT Ertl 1/25th scale A-Team van, the GMC Safari van that they used on the television show. I decided to go ahead and pick one of those kits up, and we're going to actually start building on that one next. So we'll do an out-of-the-box kit review on it, and then we're going to go over and start doing some prep work starting on the model tonight too. So we'll see you with that in just a couple seconds, everybody. Stay tuned. Okay, everybody, well, here we are with tonight's out-of-the-box kit review, and I've got a really cool little kit to share with you guys tonight. This is the AMT Ertl 1/25th scale A-Team van from the classic television show, The A-Team, and this is really a cool little model. I'm really happy with it. I got this off of eBay, and didn't even know that they made a kit of this. I just thought there were like die-cast vehicles of this out there that I'd seen in the stores and stuff like that, but this is a really cool little kit, and it's a basically a 2-in-1 kit, as we'll see here in just a second when I started looking at the, just kind of rummaging through the parts here real quick. You can build this van as two different versions. You can build it as the A-Team van, or you can build it as kind of a cool custom Chevy van. Actually, it's a GMC, but anyway, it's got a lot of extra parts that come with it, and I'm really happy with the kit, and I'm looking forward to building this one up. We're kind of been on this movie and TV vehicle kick here lately, and I've been having fun adding these to my little collection in there. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the kit for you guys tonight. You can see it's got some nice pictures on the box of the van itself here, and you can see that they have some different views. It's not super detailed on the interior. It's just got you know, the front seat detail and everything in there, but the outside looks great. I always like the paint job that they had on the vehicle during the TV show, and we're going to paint it up just like that. and put a really nice gloss clear coat on it, make it look all real nice and shiny and stuff. So let's go ahead and pull it out of the box here and check it out, guys. First we have the instruction sheet here, which we'll take a look at that in a second, but we'll start looking at some of the chrome. I'm going to grab my scissors here and we'll go ahead and pull these out of the bags for you here so you can see it a little bit better. And see what we get here, guys. First up we have here the wheels and the grill and everything. Now this particular one, like I said, is for the actual A Team version of the van here. You can see we've got the GMC grill here. We've got the front and rear spoilers. There's a spoiler that goes underneath of the grill in the front here on the bottom of the bumper. Now they're chrome plated now, but we've got to go ahead and paint the spoiler on the top here that goes on the top of the body itself in red, and then this lower one here that kind of wraps around with the wheels and everything, and the fender extensions in black. But you can see you got the kind of hurricane style wheels here, the inner and outer wheels. We have the antennas that go on the roof. We have the driving lights, the kind of rectangular shaped driving lights. We've got the CB radio here, and we've got the sort of the push guard grill protector there that goes in the front. So all the parts on this sprue are basically to do the A Team version of the van, kind of these really cool looking custom shaped side mirrors here that go on it for that first sprue. Now you can see we get another little bit smaller sprue here of chrome, which is the stuff to do the different version. Well, as I was thinking here, you can do the now this is the Chevrolet grill, so you can do this van as either a Chevrolet or a GMC. You got the Krager type wheels here, and then you've got actually you've got the small dog dish type wheels too here for you know, the kind of the bone stock version of the van, and then the regular bumpers for it if you choose to build it that way. All the valve covers and everything are in here. The timing cover, the windshield wipers, alternator, a few other chrome detail parts that are on this. It looks like there's some kind of a spotlight here that you can put on. So actually you're getting some parts here to do almost 3 different versions, like a factory stock van or sort of a custom van. Even got a cool little old school 70s racing steering wheel that you get with that if you want to use that one. So get some pretty neat options with this, which I think is pretty cool. This next sprue is some clear parts. We have the sunroof here for the A Team version of the van. They've got the old school type bubble windows that used to be really popular in the 70s on the back part of those vans. I remember when those used to be really popular on those custom vans back in the day. And then these other ones here that could be used for the back windows, I suppose. And then the headlights, which is nice that they give you those. And the side window detail here is if you want to put that in. So that's cool too. And here I guess we'll just take a look at the body itself. You can see that we have the van is basically set up to be the A Team version here. You can see that they've already got the sunroof hole cut in this for us, so that's nice. I'm glad I don't have to cut that out. And they've got the holes punched in this already to place the upper driving lights that go up on the roof, so that's nice too. But you can see it's basically the old style Chevrolet van. I always thought this body style was pretty nice for these older vans. And nice detail on it. The mold looks really nice and clean. No problems there. No flash on it or anything. It looks really good. That's going to turn out really nice when we put a nice slick paint job on this. So there's a look at the body itself. Now we've got our big bag of parts here, which we'll go through one at a time. We'll open this up and see that we get first here is the engine details, which this has a small block Chevrolet engine in it. You can see we've got our block halves here, our heads, oil pan, intake manifold, belts, battery, water pump. You can either, it looks like you can either go with some headers or the stock exhaust manifolds. So we'll probably do the headers. This is supposed to be sort of a semi-souped up vehicle that they used for their getaway and stuff on the show. So we'll probably build it a little bit souped up. We'll see what we want to do with that when we get down the road a little bit. Got the two-part drive shaft, which looking at the instructions a little while ago, it's got a really detailed chassis too. It's got a steerable front end. It's got the midshift bearing on the bottom, which, you know, a lot of the longer type wheelbase vehicles had. So the drive shaft wouldn't be too long. You know, you had a little support section in the middle. So they've got all that detail in there. You got your steering column here, your center link, separate distributor. So the model's got some really nice details. And again, like I said, a steerable front end is always nice. Here we can see we have the rear differential, the a cross member support here. Got the leaf springs, separate shocks, some inner wheel pieces here, license plate brackets. Not sure what these little parts here are. They look like steps almost, but I'm sure they're not. But we'll find out what they are when we do build the instructions, and we may not use them in our A-Team version of the van. We'll find out. But here you can see we've got the captain's chair seats for the A-Team version. Here's some header details, side pipes, some more inner wheel parts. And we have the stock hub type wheels, if you wanted to use those dog dish hubcaps that we showed you a little while ago, which is pretty cool. We'll definitely save those for something else. Some more parts we can add to our stash for some kind of project we might want to work on later on. Got the spare tire carrier there, kind of the cover for the spare tire that would be mounted on the back of the truck. I don't think we're going to be using that on this one either, but we've got our spindles here for the front. Like I said, it does have a steerable front suspension, which I always like to have that option. Here we have the stock exhaust system. It's a single exhaust. The dash, which I'm sure the dash will probably use on all the versions of the vehicle. We have the firewall here, some rings for the inner wheels. And here we have the a few chassis parts here. We have the lower control arms, some more inner wheel parts, the radiator fan shroud, radiator, more cross members. Not sure what this is here. Here's the dog house for the interior, the engine cover for the interior of the vehicle. And then here we have the frame, which is a separate part from the floor pan on this. So again, more nice detail on this one. Just some filler panels here that go here and there on the frame and everything. Another cross member part here. Actually, I think this is a trailer hitch. Yeah, it's a trailer hitch. So that's pretty cool, guys. They give you everything with this. This is really cool. So these must be a mixture of other kits that they used to offer before. Here we have the floor pan, which has some nice sort of simulated texture on there to simulate carpeting. But you know us, we'll be doing our black flocking material. We're going to do the interior, I think the floor in black, or maybe not. Maybe it's a gray interior. We'll have to see what it is. Whatever it is, we've got that color, so we'll do it in that color. But we use our flocking on this on the interior. And here the bottom pan, which the frame goes over the top of that. A few more things in here. Well, before we show you the finale here, we'll show you the wheels and tires. Well, actually just the tires, but the tires look like they're molded pretty nice. I'm liking this on some of these kits now. I'm seeing that they don't have that annoying seam that goes right down the middle of the tread that you have to sand down and get rid of. I always sand my tires just a little bit on the treads to give them that sort of worn look like real tires, but these look really nice and clean. I don't even see any flashes around the edges of them, so that's good. Got a metal axle for the rear, and the front, of course, is a steerable front end, so we've got just the pegs that go in for the front wheels, but got the glass here, which looks like they got a couple of police lights there you can use, and you got the rear taillights, which are done in red, which is great. I'm glad they did that. So we'll be able to detail those out and not have to paint those red. And here, finally, oh, we got one more small one here. Here's the front windshield in a separate bag, clear part. But here, this is pretty cool, which I wasn't expecting this, but you actually get a figure with this too. And we'll show you what that is. Get this out of the bag. And it's Mr. T himself, everybody. I pity the fool. That's pretty cool. I never expected that. Looking at him, the likeness of him actually appears pretty good, too. He's got some massive, massive arms. I mean, this guy was really pumping iron quite a bit here, you could see. But He's even got his gold chains around his neck and everything, and the mohawk and all that. So we'll probably paint him up and stick him in there. So that's really cool. Like I said, I wasn't expecting that. And then here we have the rear bumper, which is the one that we'll be using on this, since it's supposed to be painted and not plated. It's you know, the whole lower half of the vehicle's all blacked out, and we have the side running boards and the wheel flares, fender flares that go all the way around. So, like I said, I was really pleasantly surprised when I got this kit. It's definitely chock full of details and everything else, so you can't beat that. And I got this thing for a really cheap price, like I said, off of eBay. So I'm really glad I sent for it. Okay, guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just kind of clean everything up, get it put back in the box, and we're going to start working on it here in just a little bit. We're going to start working on the chassis first tonight. What I like to do when I build these models is I like to build the chassis first. That way it gives me kind of a platform to work on, so we can get all the suspension and everything all put together. And I like to glue it all together when it's just bare plastic and not not having been painted. So that way we can make sure we got a good bond and everything. We'll get the whole chassis as much as we can put together, and then we'll go ahead and paint that with some black. And we'll have it all ready as we move on to start building the engine. We can drop all that stuff in a little bit later. Okay, guys, so there's your out-of-the-box kit review. Again, this is the 1/25th scale A Team GMC van, and we're going to have a lot of fun putting this one together, guys. We're going to, it's pretty cool because I actually had some paint left over from my Airwolf, which is a darker shade than this is here, but all I have to do is add a little bit of silver to that and lighten it up a little bit, and we'll have this exact color that we need for the sort of gunmetal color that's at the top half of the vehicle here, and then the bottom half is going to be all gloss black. I forgot to show you the instructions. That's one more thing we need to look at, because inside here we also have the decal sheet, which I'll show you that real quick. Here we have our license plates that just say A Team on them, and then we have the basically the sort of the racing stripe that goes around the vehicle on the outside. So I'm glad they included that. I was going to paint it on if it didn't, but hopefully they'll work. We'll do our usual thing here. We're going to spray these down with some of our lacquer to make sure that we try to support these decals, hopefully, so they don't crumble and come apart on us. But we'll see how that goes. If they don't go on very well, I'll go ahead and, I'll do our two colors with our black and our gunmetal color, and then if these don't go down very well, I'll still have the option of being able to mask it off and paint that red stripe on. So, but we'll see how it goes. But they also got the names: Murdoch, Hannibal, Face, Amy, BA, the A Team. So, really, really cool. And you can see here on the instructions that it's got a lot of detail here. We'll just go through them real quick. You can see we've got the whole engine going together. Everything's separate on the engine too. Sometimes they're casting in, where they've got the oil filter and all that already on the engine, the starter and everything. And I don't mind them when they're like that, but I like it when you can have everything kind of separate, so you can paint it up and do all that detail work on it and then put it on the engine. It just looks more realistic that way. So that's how they've got this one. Everything is there: the coil, distributor. Everything is separate. And you got your options here as far as you want to use headers, or if you want to use the stock manifolds, or all that stuff. Then you see we move on to putting the chassis onto the floor pan, cross member, the rear suspension going together here. Has sway bars on that, which is a nice detail. Then we've got the front end going together, which, as I mentioned, is a steerable front end, which is nice. And then building up the wheels and tires and everything, putting all that together. You've got your firewall that goes on from the bottom, and the radiator and fan shroud, and then the engine drops in, and then they move on to doing the interior here with finally Mr. T himself going into the seat there. So pretty cool. And you end up here at the back with the work on the body itself. You've got the rear bumper going on. You've got the top sun visor that goes on it. And you've got the windshield wipers and the fender flares, the side skirts and everything. Got these really cool mirrors that go on there. And you wind up at the end with the grill and the brush bar, they call it here. So, again, really cool. And I'm really looking forward to building this one up. get pleasantly surprised on this one. So, okay, guys, time to take a quick break here. We'll come back and we'll get some of our parts broke off of the tree here, and we'll start working on this thing a little bit tonight for you. Okay? Be right back with that one, everybody. Okay, everybody, well, here we go with a little bit of work on the chassis and the floor pan of the A-Team van. I'm going to start off with that first. We're going to, as we can see on our instruction sheet here, we've got to work on this chassis area kind of first. They have you building the engine first, but we can always do that later and drop the engine in. So I'm going to start off, we got to build up the frame here a little bit. There's a couple of cross member pieces that go in there. And then we attach the frame to the lower part of the floor pan. Then we start adding the suspension parts on after that. So that's what we're going to kind of focus on here right now. I got this floor pan separated from the sprue. I'm going to grab the frame here. Hopefully I've got all the parts out that we need off of the sprues here. We'll just kind of get that off of there real quick. And I'm using some 180 grit paper here just to scuff this down just a little bit to remove the contact points where we had it attached to the sprue. You can shave these off with your hobby knife too. Either way you want to do that usually works okay. But just looking at the frame here, it looks like it's nice and straight. It doesn't look warped. Sometimes they are when they come out of the box, and you have to heat them up a little bit and straighten them out. But this one looks pretty straight. And we'll just go ahead and get this cleaned up a little bit. I do see a couple of little dimples in the molds here along the side, but I'm not too worried about that. We can fix it up with a little bit of spot putty. Nothing serious though. So that looks pretty good. Let's check it out and see how it fits on the bottom here. Got some holes already in the floor pan where this lines up. Everything looks good there. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make sure we don't have anything that goes down from the top side. Oh, looks like all the cross members and everything go in from the top, so we don't have to worry about that. First thing we're going to do is glue this right down onto the floor pan here. Just putting a little bead of glue on this all the way down. my plan's going to be is to come back and paint this whole assembly after we're all done putting it together here. I'm not going all the way forward to the front with that glue bead because it doesn't quite touch on the front part here, as you'll see once I lay it down on here. Get our holes lined up here. There we go. Sitting down on there real good. Okay, as you can see there. Okay, now we've got a couple of cross members that need to go in. There's a big one that goes across the front here. Looks like it's part number 32, which is a transmission mount. This is this one right here. And number 83, which it sits on top of. We're going to have to locate that one. I believe it's this one right here. 83 and 84, which is this one towards the rear. And then we have some smaller ones that are sort of filler panels here for the sides, which I think is all in this little sprue right here. It looks like it. So let's work on this one first. Gonna clean up our parts here where the sprue is attached just a little bit with my 180 paper again. Okay. Bottom part looks pretty good here. Now this has a it's not symmetrical, so we got to make sure that we put it in the right direction here. Got a little stub on there we're going to have to shave off with our hobby knife. There we go. Okay, so they have this, there's these little notches in this part, and they show those facing forward, so we got to make sure we put them in there that way. And it just glues on top of this other part here. Looks like something like that. Okay, so they just basically go straight together. No locating pins or anything on that, so we'll just have to line it up by hand here. A little drop of glue. There's some tabs on the very edges there that you can see that have to be lined up because it's got a slot that it sits in on the frame here. So just making sure that that's equal on both sides and nice and straight with the notches facing forward, and it basically drops down right in here just like that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put a couple drops of glue on the frame here. Again, making sure our notches are facing forward. Okay, we've got that one in place. Going back a little bit further. Located just behind that, we've got this one. And that one fits in there real nice, as we can see. So we're going to go ahead and glue that. That part's pretty symmetrical. Same on both sides, so it doesn't matter which direction you put that one in. So we can put that one in just like that. Okay. And then we've got these small filler panels that go in, so we need to just check this out real quick and see where they go. You've got 88, 89. Let's see. Okay, let's see. We've got these right here. Both the same. Okay, so we've got 4 total parts here. So they go just in this order right here. We've got this one that comes in the back, and got this one that goes on right here, and it just sits right there to kind of fill in the gap in the frame area there. Okay, so there for the left and the right. So you've got a wider one over here, which is pretty easy to see, and a narrower one on this side. So I'm just going to clean these up real quick with the hobby knife. Get rid of the little burr that's on there. Looks good. Okay, so then you've got just a tiny little bit of glue. Let's see, we want to make sure we put this on in the right place here. Just like that. Okay. These are the shorter ones that go on here on this side. And the longer ones on this side. Make sure we got that nice and straight. Okay, and you can see how we're getting our frame detail built up all there really nice. So next we have the rear axle. It looks like you start off with the leaf springs, but you've got to get the exhaust put underneath of that first, or it'll be have a hard time. So what we're going to do then is we're going to work on the front end instead. Let's look and see what we've got to have here. We've got to have the this main kind of spring support. If I can locate that here, I might have to get it out of the box. I might not have got that part out. Don't see it here. So we'll go ahead and get it out of the box here real quick. I think it should be in here. Don't see it in there, so maybe we do have it out. I'm just not seeing it. Let's see. There it is. Okay. Located it, everybody. All right. So it's this part right here. That goes down first. And then we've got the front springs, which I thought I saw those inside. I think they were on one of the chrome sprues. Yep, so we're going to have to get something out of here anyway. See if we can locate that real quick. Nothing on that one. Here we go. Our coil springs. Okay. Now some people on these chrome parts, they like to strip these if they're going to paint them or whatever, but I never have any problems with that. I just paint right over it. And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to glue these in, and then when we paint this whole thing black, that chrome will be covered up. So we've got our spring bucket, and we've got to have the lower control arms and the tie rod and idler link. And they're telling you not to install the steering column yet at this time, so let's just check this out here. Gotta clean this up just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to glue down the spring bucket first. Now this has a notch in it. We want to make sure we put it in the right direction here. It's supposed to sort of line up. This doesn't really give you much of anything to sit on. It's just kind of there. I'm going to make sure we do this right here, guys. I don't see any... So your springs... we're going like this, okay. Okay, so basically your coil springs are what helps line this up, because we've got these extended tabs here that you can see on the top of them that go all the way down through. So we'll put a little bit of glue on the bottom side of this first. Lining up those holes. Okay. And we're going to put some glue in the spring cups here. Now what I'm going to do is just take my hobby knife here and just scrape the chrome off the top of these just a little bit. So we get a good glue bond there. We all know that chrome doesn't like to stick to the plating very well. Okay, that one's in there. Okay, let's go for the other side now. Just kind of have a look. Okay, everything's looking good so far. Okay, so we've got that down in there. Now your lower control arms and our spindles go in place next. I know I saw the spindles. Here they are right here. We're going to have to chop these off. They're kind of delicate looking, so we don't want to try to pry them off with a sprue. We could wind up breaking them, so we'll chop them off with our hobby knife here. That one. Alright, got those loose, and then we need to find our, here we go, we've got our lower control arms. Okay. Just kind of clean this up a little bit with our 180 again. Just got a little bit of a flash left over from our sprue. A little bit on the sides here too, it looks like. All right. Okay. I want to make sure these these pins that go down there, that they're cleaned up good, because if we don't have them, they're not going to want to drop down in the, you know how we always had that problem with the holes being too small in these parts. And we're not going to be gluing this, so the front end will be steerable. So we got to make sure everything fits really good. Okay, let's test fit one of these. I want to make sure it goes in there and bottoms out all the way. Looks like it's good. We should be all right there. So now we've got to make sure that we put these on the right direction. They've got sort of a shock mount on there, a little pin that's sticking out right here that you can see, which is facing towards the rear, so we make sure we put these on the right way. I'm going to grab my spring here just a little bit, and I should have done this before I put it in, but I forgot to. I'll scrape some of this chrome off the bottom side here too, so we can make sure we get a good glue bond there. Okay, get there in there nice and straight. Okay, so this one goes on this side, and you can see it lines up right on those little swivel points right there. The spring drops down into the bucket. And then our spindle sits in the middle. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down, and then we'll lift it up slightly just to put our, squeeze our spindle in there. We're going to do that on both sides here. They show the shock absorber going on there a little bit later. Just kind of looking at it to make sure it looks equal on both sides. Looks pretty good. Okay, so now the spindle has to sit a certain way. So they show it with the connector here sort of facing down. Now, one thing I'm curious about here is that there's no holes or anything in this. I don't know how that's supposed to connect to the other part, but I guess we'll find out. So that goes forward. That's going to be interesting to see how that's supposed to work. There's no pin or anything on these to mount your tie rods onto, but let's see what we got here. We got this one that sits in there like that, so we're just going to lift this back up. Not too happy with that. That's not going in the hole at all there. So let's open this hole up just a little bit on the top here with our hobby knife. Same thing on the other side here. Okay, let's try this again. There, it went in there all the way. That's what we were looking for. Do the same thing over here now. This one here, I'm a little worried about. It doesn't seem like it's bottoming out all the way. I think what the problem might be is we've got a little bit of stuff on the top of that spring. That spring's not flat. So We'll fix that real quick, guys. We'll just move this control arm out of the way. And we're going to shave down that material on the top of that spring. Yeah, there was a little bit of a flash on the top of that. So we'll fix that real quick. Another spot of glue here. That hopefully will make it bottom out a little bit better. Let's get this put in. Oh yeah, big difference there, guys. That worked perfect. Okay, so now we've got our spindles in there, and they seem to be turning freely. Don't seem to be binding up or anything, so that looks good. I'm just going to check out what we got going on here. This is kind of strange. Yeah, I'm not sure how they expect you to make that work there. That's kind of weird. Usually there'll be some through holes or something there, but don't see that. Well, maybe the front end is not steerable. I don't know why they would give you the ability to have these spindles set up like this if it wasn't. That's really strange that they would do it that way. Got these little links that glue on there. The instructions certainly aren't very clear on that at all. Study this a little bit more here. And then they have that connecting up to the guys, I don't think the front end's going to be steerable because you've got these solid mounts that go on the idler arm bracket and the steering column. Very odd. Got these little connector pieces that go on there. Yeah, they just got this thing being glued right down to the top of those spindles. So once you glue that in place, it's definitely not going to be steerable. Well, that's kind of a shame. But there really isn't much of a way you could modify that, I guess, if you drilled some tiny little holes in there and made some pins for it. But beyond that, or if you just left this piece off and you just had your front end, you know, kind of steering individually, which wouldn't be too great, but it's kind of disappointing. Anyway, they've got it just where you just glue this thing right down on the top of these, so that's what we're going to do, guys. We'll just follow the instructions here. Get this little burr cleaned off of these. That's exactly what they got going on. I'm not sure what they were thinking there, but let's see. Looks like it goes from the top like this down to the bottom here. Hoping I'm seeing that right. this. Okay. Got these little tabs here on the front which connect to this steering box, idler arm bracket, and the steering column connects to that a little bit later. So we're going to go ahead and put that on there like that. Make sure it all lines up here. It seems kind of wide to me. Okay, well, that's how it goes. So we'll glue it on there just the way they want it. A little bit of glue on the top side of these tabs here. And we got to make sure these little pegs are facing forward like they call for. And it just connects just like this. I think I'll use my tweezers to do this. This is kind of a pain in the butt here, is what this is. Maybe I'll be better off without my tweezers. Let's see if we can get this in here, guys. What I'm not understanding here either is that this, when this lines up where they call for it, it's got your spindles fairly towed out. I mean, a lot. That's very strange. Okay, guys. All right, well, we're going to have to find out how that lines up a little bit later once we go to put our wheels and everything on there. But this is, everything else was going really great on this, but I'm not really too up on this setup here. But hopefully it'll all work out. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, it's, but if I hold this up here, you guys can see what I'm talking about. They've got this right on these, this center link is gluing right to the top of these little spindle tabs here. And if you look at the angle of the spindle tabs, they're kind of bowed out here, like towed out. I'd say about 5 degrees or almost 10 degrees on each side there. Very strange. No matter how much I squeeze it together. So, I guess we'll find out when we put the hubs on and everything. Now, they've just got a backing thing on here, which is you know, the circle with a vertical slot cut in each one. So if they're crooked, I guess what we can do is just kind of glue them on there a little bit off-centered so they'll be straight when we look at the vehicle itself from the front. So we can kind of compensate for that. So hopefully it won't be too bad. But like I said, I'm disappointed that it wasn't steerable, though. That kind of sucks. I thought we were going to be able to work our way around that. But, and again, if you wanted to take some time, you probably could come up with something and make that work. Just eliminate that piece and use a different piece or something, or make some pins in there. But I'm not going to put all that kind of time into this. I'm just going to go with it the way it is, guys. So unfortunately, we won't have our steerable front end, but everything else will be okay, hopefully. All right, guys. Well, I'm showing a little bit short on the time here. So we basically got our most of our front end put together here. We've got the chassis going to the back here. We'll be just doing the leaf springs and the differential, the shocks, and we've got our drive shaft and everything. There's another mount that goes in here for the midshift bearing, which I talked about. So we've got a short drive shaft and then drive shaft support that goes on here and the drive shaft that goes the rest of the way back, the shock absorbers and all that. Pretty basic, straightforward stuff, so you guys won't be missing out on anything there. But during the week here, I'll probably finish putting the chassis all together and get it all painted. And then next week, we'll come back and show you some work on the getting the interior detailed out. I'll do my carpet flocking on that, and we'll do the detail and paint work on the body. So had a little fun getting started on this one tonight, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. And besides that little action we had here at the front with this tie rod assembly, the rest of this thing is going together like a breeze, and I'm really happy with it. And like I said, I'm not too worried about it. We'll get it figured out. Won't have our steerable front end, but everything else is going to fit really good. But we can make an adjustment here for the spindles being off just a little bit by just gluing those hubs on just a little bit off-centered. So no problem there. Okay, guys, coming back, and we're going to hop back over to the desktop here and see you in just a couple seconds, everybody. Hang on tight.
Okay, everybody, back with you again. I hope you enjoyed what we had to show you guys tonight. Everything's going pretty good. I'm still a little bit mystified about the front end on the A-Team van there, but I think everything's going to be okay with that. I'll look at the hubs here maybe a little bit after the show's over and check that out and see what I'm going to do to be able to make those lined up and straight on the front of the vehicle. A little disappointed that it wasn't steerable, but hey, you work with what you have. But if you're building one of those kits, like I said, you could do a little bit of modifying or something on that and make it into a steerable front end if you want to spend a little bit more time on it. We're going to head over to the Q&A in just a second, everybody, but I wanted to show you guys these pictures real fast of the figures that come with the 132 scale Mobius flying sub. One of our viewers that watches the show that posts all the time over at our Model Shop Google page, Lee Chambers, thanks for posting these, Lee. He just picked up the kit and wanted to show everybody what the figures actually look like. So here's a shot of them, and you can see you get Captain Crane and Admiral Nelson. This is the first view, and this is the second view. I think they look pretty good. I guess my only bone would be that I think the heads are actually kind of too skinny. They kind of remind me of that movie Casino when the guy put the guy's head in the vise to make him talk or whatever. They look like they've been squished a little bit, but the detail on the uniforms and everything looks pretty good. They have their flight jackets on that we saw in the show, and they have the belts around the middle and everything, like the straps, like they're strapped in, and they've got the flight sticks in their hands. So all in all, I think they're pretty good, and it's definitely better than nothing. Like I said last week, there was a company called Crow's Nest that used to offer these figures aftermarket in resin, the ones that I used on my build, and those are almost impossible to find anymore, and if you do find them, they're really expensive. So I think it's cool that they gave you these, and if you wanted to, you could probably swap out the heads too if you had some figures in scale, some 132 scale figures that you could find somewhere that had maybe better heads than these do. You could easily swap those out. So, but like I said, not knocking it, it's definitely better than nothing. So thanks for sharing those photos with us, Lee. We appreciate that. Quite a few people wanted to know what they look like. Just something else that we got into the shop this week, guys, a little quick sneak peek of what we're going to be starting to work on next week, as well as the A-Team van. We got this in, and maybe you guys can, a couple of you guys can figure out what this actually is. Picked this kit up from Voodoo Effects. I was talking about it last week when I actually said Monsters in Motion, but this comes from Voodoo Effects. This is the 1:1 scale HAL 9000 kit. And after we had Hal as a guest a couple weeks ago, I thought it might be kind of cool. I saw that they have a kit available. It's a resin kit. You can see you get the instruction sheet with it here, and this has actually got a small little lighting kit that comes with it. We're going to do a sort of an out-of-the-box kit review on it next week, and we'll show you some more of the details of that one. We're going to start building that one up. I'm going to have some fun with it. I'm going to use some one of my soundboards. Actually, I'm going to pick up a soundboard for it that has a light-activated sensor in it, so like when I go in the room and turn the lights on, Hal will start talking. That'll be kind of cool. I've got some cool phrases that I downloaded for it that I'll put on there that he uses from both films, 2001 and 2010. So he'll kind of have a little conversation with you, and that'll be pretty sweet. So we'll show you a little bit more of that next week. Okay, guys, I'm going to head over to the Q&A and the shout-outs for tonight. We had kind of a long show tonight, so hopefully there's somebody still up. I know it's getting pretty late for some of you guys, but we'll check it out and see who's here and see what you guys are talking about. Scroll up to the top here. Got Sci-Fi Modeler here with us, or SF Modeler, and Jeffrey Jennings. We got Chris with Classic Plastic, Leona Timber Company, Jamie Shiner, John Petrie, Triskelion. Armando is with us tonight, DLC Model Builders. Nice to see you, DLC. Got Chuck Brooks, Derek Sabora, Mike Kovach, John Petrie. John, boy, you really roughed it out tonight, guy. It must be getting really late where you're at. Glad you could hang in there with us. We got Slappy Milk Toast. Haven't seen you in a couple weeks, buddy. Glad to see you this week. We got Ubcaesar. Ubcaesar just posted a really nice link to his video on our Google page over at the Model Shop of his just completed Green Hornet. If you guys get a chance, check that out. He built a beautiful little display for that goes along with the Green Hornet car. I think the car is 132 scale, but he did a fantastic job being that small, doing all the interior lighting on it and the headlights and all that. And I had the pleasure of working on a soundboard for him with some Green Hornet dialogue and music that he incorporated into his build, and it turned out really cool. Good job on that, Ubcaesar, and thanks for sharing that with us. We got Clint Llewellyn here with us tonight too. Stephen Baker. We've got Chris with Space Pirates Hobbies. Nice to see you tonight, Chris. Eddie Perez. Nice to see you. James Schulenberg. George Volkowski. Mark Shue is here with us tonight. Mike Scarola. Mike says skinny heads are better than no heads. That's true, Mike. And like I said, you can always maybe get some aftermarket heads from somewhere or offer of a different figure or something like that, and make those look a little bit better. We got Galactic Modeler wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you, I appreciate that. Had a great birthday. Had a great triple layer chocolate cake that my wife made for me. I chowed down on that, so it was a good birthday. I'm getting to where, like everybody my age, I don't like them to come every year. It was 53 this year, so Uh, the years keep ticking by. It seems like they keep coming faster and faster. We got James Kirk here with us too. Rob Miser, Dadnator24. That's Rick. Rick, I want to say thanks again for sending us that kit. Really appreciate that. That's the Airwolf kit. I hope you like the work that we did on it. We put our best into it, and I think it turned out really nice. And we'll have that on display with the rest of our models in there, and happy to add that one in. And thanks again for sending it. We got eBiker56. That's James Frost. Nice to see you, James. Marv Solo. Nice to see you, Marv. Stephen Baker. Jet is here with us tonight. Michelle Bennett. Yeah, you're right, Michelle. I am getting old. My wife reminded me of that when she showed me that picture from my 25th birthday and how much different I looked. Armando says I'm still a baby. Well, you're as young as you feel, or you're as young as you think, and I'm still a kid at heart. So we'll try to keep that feeling going on. And Shannon Freeman's here with us tonight. Nice to see you, Shannon. Chuck says, did I get any model kits for my birthday? Well, I bought one for myself, Chuck. I bought the A Team van, and I bought another one that I'll show you guys next week. And I bought the HAL kit, so I kind of treated myself. I got some nice stuff from the family, so not really model related. You know, my wife doesn't like to buy me anything model related. I asked for kits for Christmas for my birthday, but never seem to get any. But I'm always happy with what I get. Just it's more the meaning than anything else. We've got Scott Hall is also with us tonight. Nice to see you, Scott. And let's see, we got Rocket Boy 1969. B. Tilly. And Modelergy. Nice to see you, Modelergy. James Kirk says, "Don't worry, boy. Just tell everyone that you are only 21 in leap years." Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Caesar says, "Yeah, the women are the only ones that can get away with talking about their husband's age. You try to do that with your wife, and you'd be in big trouble." Yeah, I know you don't want to go there on that, Caesar. That's for sure. And Galactic Modeler says, "Modeling will keep you young." Jamie Shiner says he's 51. Looks like a lot of you guys are about my age. Steven's about 54. James is 50. And it sounds like a lot of you guys don't get too many model kits for Christmas for your birthday either. You got to buy them for yourself. Well, that way you get to make sure you get the ones you really want. You know, you wouldn't want to maybe get, your wife might pick out something like the Charlie's Angels action van and think that was pretty cool or something. I don't think that would be quite for my my style. Chris Cortell is 56. I'm glad I got a couple years on you, old man. Chris says he's getting his he's looking forward to that though because he gets free coffee. Well, that's pretty good. Can't knock that. Lots of birthday wishes. I appreciate that, guys. You know, when I was a kid, when I had my birthday this time of the year, I always got gypped because my relatives would send me the birthday present and say that that was my Christmas present too. That's the only bad thing about having your birthday close to Christmas. And then, of course, where I grew up in Wisconsin, being wintertime, I would always get stuff that you could play with or have fun with in the summer. So I had to wait like 6 months before I could go outside and actually enjoy it. In Wisconsin, it doesn't get nice until like May or June, so I'd have to wait a while. Michael Kovac says he's 56. Clint Llewellyn's 50. Matt Alkire is here tonight. Matt's only 42. He's still wet behind the ears. John, you too, only 40? Wow. Rocket Boy says, what part of Wisconsin? I grew up in the southern part of Wisconsin, right near the Wisconsin-Illinois border, Mike, in a town called Janesville. There used to be a really big General Motors assembly plant there. My dad worked there for like 30 years. Actually, probably like 35 years. Really nice place to grow up. Hated the winters there, and I couldn't wait to move away from the. I don't miss the snow at all, and but it was a beautiful part of the country. It's been like 25 years or so. We just had our in-laws here visiting us from there. They always come down every year for Thanksgiving, and we were just talking about it. It's been 25 years since I've been back, and we're actually planning on going for a visit this spring, so I'm really looking forward to that. It's probably going to be really weird because everything's in a time capsule for me. Everybody still looks like they did 25 years ago in my mind, and so does the town, so they keep telling me about how much it changed and everything, but can't wait to see it. A couple people here from Wisconsin. That's pretty cool. Clint says he's from Watoma. I think I know where that is. That's a little bit farther north. Caesar says he actually does get model kits from his wife, and she knows his taste. Well, good for you, Caesar. You're one of the lucky ones. Yeah, my in-laws, when they came to visit, they had just got 8 inches of snow there where they were at when they left, and they were hoping to come down here and see a little bit of warmth and sunshine, but unfortunately it was like London weather here the whole time. It was cold and drizzly, and the sun came out the day after they left. I kind of felt sorry for them. It was like 70 degrees here the other day, and we're supposed to get another cold front coming back in here, though, so I hate that kind of weather. Got a couple people here chiming in. We got Ryan Fish. Ryan, I think you might be new here. Welcome to the show. Glad you joined us. I hope you're enjoying it. Ryan's asking about the... I announced earlier this week, guys, that I'm going to be opening up my TrekWorks/Model Shop official website, and a couple people were wondering if that meant we were going to go to pay-per-view or something here. Absolutely not, guys. No way in a million years would I ever charge anybody to see the videos or the things that we do here on the channel. The whole idea of these channels from the very beginning is to try to help people out in the modeling community. I just don't believe in charging people for that. We're gonna basically have the website to put some of my stuff in one place where people can find it. You know, I started selling these soundboards. I've got a couple other things I'm working on with sound and lighting kits, and then I'm going to be putting out a couple of how-to building guides to start with on the 1/350 scale TOS Enterprise and the 1/350 scale Enterprise Refit. And basically what they're going to be are like my version of a build guide and a complete tools and supplies list that you're going to need if you want to build the model like the way I do it here, with all the recommended lighting components that I use, you know, the control boards that I used, the painting techniques that I used, you know, all those things kind of put in one place. And then there'll be a blog there that will have that I'll post on regularly about upcoming model kits, kit reviews, product reviews, you know, just kind of things like that. But all that stuff will be the manuals I'm going to be selling, but all the blogs and all the other stuff, the videos and everything, are all going to be free like they always have been. So yeah, no worries about that. And the question that Ryan's asking here, we're going to have guides and things like that for new people to see what kind of tools they need to get started and things like that. Absolutely, that's the whole idea of it, Ryan. And it's just going to kind of put everything in one place. It's not going to change the YouTube channel or any of those things. So it's just going to allow me to be a little bit more organized. I'm finding a lot of people that are ordering these soundboards and stuff that are ordering them. They're going back and finding the videos, you know, and those videos are already a couple of months old. So I want to be able to make sure that people know I have them and everything. And, you know, just like I said, kind of a place where you can where you can go and find everything and have some fun there. Some galleries. I'll be posting pictures of some of my models there, and then pictures of other people's models, and some cool stuff like that. See, we've got a couple more people here. See, American Legend. Nice of you to stop in and see us tonight. Hope you guys, like I said, it's a lot of people watch the show later on the rerun, but if you can, if you can possibly ever, if it meets your schedule and you can join in and watch the show live, it's a lot of fun because it's not just what we're showing on the channel here, what we're doing on the bench or working on, but we have a great group of people here that have the live chat session every week and have a lot of fun with it. I'm sure they were having a good time. We had, like I said, we had a little bit of a delay getting the show started tonight because of the birthday party we had here, but I'm sure you guys were having a good time and passing the time in there chatting about models and telling jokes and having a lot of fun. I got some great comments from some people last week that just joined the show for the first time on the live chat, and they commented how friendly and funny you guys all are, and they felt really welcome. And I just want to say I really want to thank you guys for that. I really appreciate that. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make it really friendly and fun, and no matter what kind of modeling you're interested in, and we're trying to show, some episodes are about beginning techniques for beginners and the basic tools and tips and tricks, and some of them are for more people that are a little bit more advanced and stuff. We get into electronics and painting techniques and stuff like that. So we try to have something for everybody and all the different types of modeling. The TrekWorks channel has primarily been sci-fi for quite a while, although I've been doing some car models and planes and different categories. I think it's kind of fun to open that whole thing up, but this show is definitely for going over the whole spectrum and seeing, getting a chance to hear from everybody else and what their input is and how they do things, and sharing info. Example right now is we got the pictures from Lee with the what the figures look like for the Flying Sub, and all kinds of cool information coming out that can help you make decisions about what kits you want to buy and tools you want to buy and everything. So we had I went back and checked the stats after the show was over last week, and we had a peak of I believe it was like 92 viewers that were watching live, and that beat the old record by 12 people. So it keeps growing every week, and even though we've had a few technical difficulties and growing pains here, we're trying to make it better every week. So we're going to keep going at it, guys. But don't worry about anything going to pay-per-view. I promise you, I will never charge people to see my videos, and I just don't believe in it. I think it's good to help the community and promote the hobby. And I'd be, like I've said 1,000 times, I'd be out here building models anyway, and why not turn the camera on and talk while I'm doing it, and share what I'm doing and try to help other people out. So okay, guys, well, I know it's been running kind of long here already, and I don't want to have you guys falling to sleep and falling off your chair. So if anybody has any specific questions they want to ask me, I'm going to do the hangout tonight after the show's over, our usual after the show hangout. It'll probably be a little short for me tonight, guys. I won't be able to stay as long as normal because my wife and I are going to sit down and watch a movie and stuff a little bit later here, and I got to get some more of that cake before I go to bed. But if anybody has any specific questions about what we showed tonight or something else, I'll try to help you with that, or somebody else in here that's in the chat with us can help us out. Mike Kovac says he has to hide some of his kits from his wife because she wants to know why I haven't built others yet. Well, that's the classic question of all time, Mike. I'm sure we've all been down that road. My wife constantly asks me, well, why do you need another kit when you've got like 40 kits sitting in the background or in your closet that you still need to build? Well, it's partly about collecting and it's partly about building is how I try to explain it. We always see something that we want, and some of them are kind of more high priority than others as far as what we want to get to on the build. and they're always coming out with new stuff. That's always my excuse, you know. Well, they didn't have that kit before. I need that one. That's one of my favorites, you know. And she always counters with, well, how many favorites do you have? I mean, so it's kind of a give and take, and I'm just thankful she's really understanding about it and very supportive of the whole thing. You know, she always says, well, I guess you could be doing worse things, and I say, well, there you go. You know, that's all we need to hear. Um, let's see. See a couple questions flashing by here. Let's see. Galactic Modeler says he's built over 70 models since he started watching the channel. Wow, that's a lot of work, Galactic. Send us some pictures of those. We'd love to see all those. Like I said, guys, it's been a little slow last couple of weeks on getting pictures for our next slideshow. I have to wait until I get so many of them in. Several of you guys have sent some, and I don't always get a chance to reply and let you know that I got them, but rest assured that I'm getting them, and we'll get those put together. And I know it's takes time for you guys to build more models, so we're being patient with it, but the people really, really enjoy those slideshows, so we can get, as soon as we can get a few more pictures in here, we'll throw another slideshow up on the next program that we do. We really appreciate you guys sending those in. And again, if you have a short little video you want to feature too, like we did with Scott Hall's dry dock build here a couple of weeks ago, which everybody really, really enjoyed that one. Jim's asking about the after the show hangout. Yep, I'm gonna put that up here. The link will be on the Model Shop Guys page, maybe about 5 or 10 minutes after I wrap things up here, and you can come on in. I saw a question flash by here, something about the Yamato. If I can find it here, these things just jump by so fast. We have someone else new here. I saw it flash past there. This thing doesn't actually scroll really smooth, so let me see if I can find you here. Looks like John Petrie's going to bed. Nice to see you, John. Thanks for hanging in there, buddy. I promise I'll get the show kicked off on time at 7 o'clock one of these days. Jason Webster, he might be new. He's asking if anyone knows if there's a Prometheus. Yes, there is, Jason. Go to a website called fantasticplastic.com, and you'll find that kit there. It's been released, I think, not too long ago, and it actually looks like a really nice kit. Oh, okay, here it is. I think it's Raxphone69. I think he might be new. Nice of you to join us. His question is, have I thought about keeping all the electronics for the 1/350 scale model internal as opposed to the base? Well, on that one, Rax, it's pretty much, that model is designed as being a modular sort of a setup where the servos and everything else is placed into the ship, and it doesn't leave a lot of room to put anything else in there. Those servo motors are really big, and the only thing that's really in the base of the model is the soundboard, which is not really that big. There isn't really that much other electronics in there besides the soundboard and the on-off switch, so most of the electronics for that are already in the model itself. The servo motors and the wiring harnesses and the sensor eye for the remote, which mounts on the side of the ship. So it's pretty much designed not to be, you're pretty much supposed to build that right out of the box the way it is. So I didn't really think about changing too much on that. I was afraid something might not work right if I did any, modifying on it or anything. Clint's asking if I got his email about the soundboard. Yes, I did, Clint, and I'm working on that. I've got a lot of boards that I'm trying to work on at the same time. I'm getting requests for custom boards and also keeping up with the regular boards that people are ordering. That's been doing really well. Like I said, I really appreciate the support on that one. Um, while we're talking about that, I'm going to mention something really quick. There's another modeler out there who I don't think I'm going to mention their name, but they made a recent video where they were kind of talking about, ordering, they're going to be carrying another soundboard on their own and they're going to be selling it. And they were kind of saying some statements to the effect that the board that I'm charging an outrageous amount for it, since you can buy the board off the shelf for, $7 or $8. Well, I just want to speak to that a little bit. Now, the basic board as you see it, when you buy it from the company that I'm getting these from, when I've told everybody before in the past what it is, it's Big Dogs. It's a greeting card company. But I'm doing a lot of modifying to the board. I'm modifying that board to make it be able to run on DC power, which is really important because the board that in its basic form, it only comes with batteries, the small coin-type batteries. And if you go to their website and look at their specifications up on that, it says right in front of you there that with the battery power, it's only good for about 30 to 40 plays and the battery will start dying. And I can tell you that just when I was testing them out, they were dying even sooner than that. Half of them that came from the factory, the batteries were half dead and things like that. So I did some engineering to wire these up so that they'll work with anywhere from 6 volts DC all the way up to, actually they'll go all the way up to 38 volts. Now I don't know anybody that's going to use that much, but the way I engineered those, so I figured all that out and came up with the idea, and then the switching that I'm using to control the be able to turn the lighting effects off and on and all that. And then it takes a long time, guys, to program the sounds and drop them in there. I mean, you can't just grab a sound and drop it in there. It has to be adjusted as far as the volume level on it, and also you have to use an equalizer, a program that has an equalizer in there to go and change the bass and treble effects so that it actually sounds good when it comes out. And I can spend hours and hours on each one to try to get everything just right. And I think everybody that's got the boards will agree that I've got them set up so that the sound is coming through nice and crisp and everything, and then you have the ability to run the board off of a DC power supply that ties right in with the wiring on your model. I mean, if you wanted to put the board in there under battery power, you could, but like I said, every so often you're going to have to change out the batteries, and the way they have the batteries mounted in it, it's a real pain in the butt too. You'll have to crack open the little clamps that they're held in and change out the batteries, and they run at 4.5 volts from the factory with the battery power, and I actually sacrificed one of them on my power supply here to see how much power they would take. And as soon as I hit like 4.7 volts, it went up in smoke. So I don't know anybody out there that is running their models at 4.5 volts, unless you're just running a couple of little LED lights or something. And but usually people are running at 9 or 12 volts. So I have this set up now where you can tie it in with the rest of your model and run between 9 and 12 volts with no problem and never have to worry about batteries. So a lot of work went into that. So I wasn't too happy when the person who made those comments, I would have had no trouble at all, or wouldn't have had any issue with it at all if they just came on and said, hey, I'm selling boards, fine. I mean, competition, it's a free market. Anybody can do that. I wouldn't have had a problem with it at all. But to add to that statement and basically turn around and say, yeah, the guy's ripping you off, he's gouging you on the price. He's charging you a lot more than what he bought the boards for. Well, absolutely, I'd put a lot of work into them. And it's not a lot more than what I paid for them either. And I'll remind everybody that every board you buy, whether it's from Tenna Controls or whether it's from anybody out there that's making aftermarket kits or whatever, they're not manufacturing those boards. It's a basic board, and then they're programming them to do the effects for lighting and things like that. So they're putting that effort into it extra, and that's why they're charging you a little bit more than what they buy the boards for. Of course, if you buy them in bulk and everything, you're going to get them a little bit cheaper, but so a lot goes into it, and I just wanted to say that to kind of clear that up. And I wasn't, like I said, I try not to. You'd never see me going on, making a video saying, hey, there's another guy doing commission models and his models suck, and he's, and all that kind of stuff. Just let it go. I mean, it's a free market, and if you do good work and you and you're fair and everything, you're gonna be successful. So I'll just leave it at that. I just thought it needed to be mentioned, and I apologize for the rant a little bit, but the subject of the boards, I put a lot of work into that, and it seems like I've gotten 100% feedback so far, and I've shipped out probably over 150 of them now, and everybody that's received them has been really, really happy with them. So we'll leave it at that. But okay, guys, I'm going to ask one more time if we have any questions, and we'll see. If we don't have any, we're going to call it a wrap, guys. Like I said, I appreciate you guys all hanging in there. It's getting long in the tooth here tonight. Well, some of you guys are supporting what I said there, and like I said, I really appreciate that. No reason to get upset. I'll admit I was a little upset about it because this person I'm talking about, I thought they were a friend of mine, and I've supported them quite a bit. And if I was to tell you who it was, you guys would be probably pretty surprised because I've had that person on our Hangouts. He actually does commission model work and things like that, and I've let him talk about his. If I was such a bad guy, I wouldn't invite him on my Hangouts. And he's basically in competition with me. I'd say, well, I don't want a guy like that around here, So, but I let everybody speak their mind. We've had different people on here, along with our friend Ralph at Tenant Controls. That we all know Ralph does the boards, and we've had other people that do that same thing, and everybody gets along just fine. I mean, there's plenty to go around for everybody, guys. So. Like I said, no need to get nasty about it. So I think we're going to call it a wrap, guys. I'll see some of you here in a few minutes. I've got to clean things up here a little bit, and we're going to. I'll put the link up there for the Hangout, and hopefully you'll see some of you guys there afterwards, and we've been having a lot of fun with that too. Some of them have been running kind of late. You guys are really amazing as far as you never get tired about talking about models. So neither do I. So I'll just be kind of hanging out, maybe working on the A Team van a little bit here, and maybe working on the HAL, getting some preparation work done on that. We'll have a good time talking models, guys. So thanks for tuning in again, everybody. We'll be back next week, hopefully at 7 o'clock, and for episode 63. And we'll be back working on the A Team van a little bit, and maybe the HAL. I'm going to start a couple other kits too. I planned on some of the kits behind me, guys. I'm going to pick out a couple, maybe 3 or 4 of them, and let you guys decide which kit you want to see me work on next. And maybe some of you have something that you're thinking about working on, a similar kit that you maybe want to see how that goes first. So we'll go ahead and do that, guys. So thanks again, everybody. Y'all guys take care. We'll see you in a little bit for those of you who are going to make it to the Hangout, and we'll catch you next week. Have a great week, everybody. Stay warm out there. We'll see you next time. Good night.